Turmoil within the leadership of the Colorado Republican Party made headlines this week. State Chair Steve House said he was being pushed to resign by Attorney General Cynthia Coffman and former Congressman Tom Tancredo, but both Coffman and Tancredo deny the claims. Meanwhile, Cynthia Coffman announced on Thursday that she is not running for the U.S. Senate in 2016. Now, Patty, there were some reports yesterday that talked about that a Denver Post reporter heard about Cynthia Coffman not running for the U.S. Senate before this week, so it's probably not tied to this. But this was a drama worthy of a telenovela this week. What do you think?
Well, unless Steve House is going to come out and say he's black, it's almost impossible to imagine how the story could get any stranger. We still haven't gotten to the end game yet because he is still the head of the Colorado Republican Party. We know somewhere Ryan Call has got to be laughing since he just in March lost that seat to Steve House, who was pushed by Cynthia Coffman and Tom Tancredo, and that kind of put him over the top. We don't know what secret thing they may or may not have used against him, this information that could come out and be so devastating. I know Peter Boyles was talking about it today, to get to another alumni. Tancredo clearly is involved in this. We also hear it's taking other people too. So first Mike Coffman says he's not running. Now Cynthia Coffman says she's not running. Mike Kopp has now said he's not running. He told Politico, I think, that he isn't interested. Now maybe that's because he figures if he takes himself out now, he's going to look really good 9 months from now when everyone else has been sullied by whatever is going on. But you couldn't believe the Colorado Republican Party could get any screwier than it was. You know, maybe we'll see Senator Dan Mays next year because he may be the last person left.
I guess it could be worse. What you're saying is for the GOP, it could be worse in Colorado. David, it surprises me that, during the last decade or so, when the Republicans were having a lot of problems unifying, and it was showing in the lack of any victories in the state legislature or statewide races, I guess that makes sense. You'd see turmoil in a party having problems. But now you have a party that has a U.S. senator, that has has the state Senate, seemingly some success, and having even more problems than ever. What do you make of that?
Well, and they got rid of the guy who had led them to success, Ryan Call, who, among other things, I think did a good job on what the state party is really there for, which is the technicalities of voter outreach and getting the lists and making the phone calls and identifying the people who are on your side but weakly motivated to vote and pestering them until they do. Cynthia Coffman is a conservative person in the sense of being cautious. So it was remarkable that she alone, among the party's highest elected officials, went for Steve House and actually delivered his nominating speech at the state convention. And so that she is the one now trying to tell him to go is remarkable. And my guess is she's not the kind of person who would do that on flimsy or whimsical reasons. But as House's defenders, including I think Jack Strayer, the former state party, thank you, the former state party chair, said you can't go out and say and do something like this if you're not willing to go public with whatever the charges are.
Mm-hmm. Dick Wadham's made the same point of encouraging, saying, hey, if there's material there, put it out there so that something can be done with it. Penn, if you're national Republican folks right now looking at Colorado as a potential swing state for the presidential campaign, a major Senate election of whoever's going to run against Michael Bennet, what are you most concerned about right now?
You are scared half to death. Because the former Republican state party chair who got you a Senate seat, helped get you a Senate seat in control of the state Senate, is now gone, forcibly pushed out by two people who barely 8 months later now want to replace the current state party chair. And what I find fascinating about this story, and it sort of goes to the point that Dick Wadhams and others have made, we're going to hear more, because when I saw Tancredo's interview and what I've read, I think Tom and Cynthia and Steve all agree about what subjects were talked about. They just have different interpretations about whether it was an overt threat or a covert threat or demand. Something bizarre is going on, and I do think it's going to come out, and frankly, I think it's going to damage all three of them at the end of the day and probably hit a few other people. There's something doesn't smell right here. And so the National Party has to be scared half to death. because it looks like this is one of these internal battles where everybody gets bloodied and nobody comes out ahead.
Natasha, I guess, well, Mike Coffman, Cynthia Coffman, and Mike Kopp can all change their minds between now and next year to run for Senate. I'm not sure there's a lot of people out there in the Republican Party that want to run for U.S. Senate if they know this is the fractured party, especially fractured party leadership that is going to be supposedly backing them up. What do you think?
Well, I think they probably already know that's the case. We're just now seeing a little bit more of the dirty laundry that's going on. You know, one of the things that's interesting is that Ryan Call was got in trouble for spending too much attention on the national races, but that's exactly what they should be paying attention for. And then, as we've just been saying, that's where the National Republican Party is going to come in and say, Colorado is way too important to us. Stop this infighting. Stop putting it out in the media. Stop talking about it. It ends here. Now, who gets pushed aside to sort of cover up this mess right now will be an interesting thing in the next few months, but there's no way that even 6 months down the road, the National Republican Party wants any of this to be bubbling under the surface.